Hello and welcome to Hellbent Live. My name is Jesse Doyle. This is my partner, friend, lover, and sometimes enemy, Joe Doyle, the greatest cameraman in cryptozoology, the man himself, the flag bearer.
The flag.
Do we have anything else?
I got nothing.
Is that enough? Welcome to Hellbent Live. We are so glad to see you all. I'm glad to see that you all survived a spooky, ooky Halloween. We're glad to be back. And we've got quite an action-packed, information-packed, wild out there. Might be some WATs flying at these people today, right? Some WATs.
Wild ass theories.
Wild ass theories flying at you folks today. We're going to talk about the mysterious and the mechanical. We're going to discuss UFOs, cryptids, unknown creatures, shared technology, and a whole other litany of things bizarre, mysterious, and possibly technological. Good to have everybody here. I hope everybody's doing well. We are on Tuesdays, as we have discussed before. We're doing Tuesdays on a regular basis now because some of our investigations, since we are in season, we are definitely in investigation season. Our investigations are running over, so we might need these blocks of time, including Monday, to do those and really do those justice. So we're moving the show to Tuesdays at 7:30.
Temporarily.
Yeah. And we are still in the old depths of the Hellbent library here, but I think it's okay. I like the scene here. So till we get into that, we've got a bunch of new cases that are cropping up that we're really excited about.
Too many new cases that are cropping up. We're having a hard time. We're having a hard time prioritizing them.
Yeah.
And getting to them at this point. So anyway,
we are doing a cool investigation coming up this week, and we are dipping into some new cases. We're really excited. We spent some time in Blackthorn over the past week, exploring some new areas out there. So I'm going to have a bit of a scouting video as just a bonus as a members content thing. It'll be some scouting of some new areas in Blackthorn, and we discovered a type of tree that we did not know existed.
What were those things called?
The Osage orange.
Everybody and their mother knew what those were, but we'd never seen them before in this region.
Yes,
so.
And I felt like a total fool because I was like, okay, I swear I thought they were black walnuts the entire time because that's what I'm familiar with, and they look like a black walnut in a way. So when we're filming and we're out there running around, that's what I was calling it. It's black walnuts the whole time, but it is not.
What are they? Osage
orange.
Osage orange.
Named after the Osage tribe. Apparently the Osage orange wood, they were used as fencing barriers for
apparently that's a common thing because there's a lot of things comparing them online here real quick.
So I'm not a total fool.
Damn, they're so much bigger though. They're insanely big.
I'm going to pull up my photo, and I'm going to actually show you guys my photo of me with this thing. This wasn't even the largest one that we had. The largest one that we found. We actually found one that was giant. It's like 10 pounds. So I'm going to pull that bad boy up and show that to you guys. But yeah, we discovered those. Apparently they keep livestock in before the widespread use of barbed wire. They were used for that purpose. And then Native American tribes used them in bow making and war club making.
Yep.
Apparently
which I had no clue about. Yeah. So MK Ultra, our boy. Starlink has a lot of obstructions, so we have to watch on replay, but good to see you all. MK member for 7 months supporting the project. If you guys would like to support the project, we need your damn help. We are currently under throttling from the powers that be. So if you would like to help support this, we have memberships available, super chats available. You can gift memberships to others. We will take sacks of unmarked cash, gold bars.
I like where this is going.
Organs and coolers filled with ice with no questions asked.
No questions?
No questions asked at all.
Janet Walmsley, my
we
girl.
wonder why we're throttled. Anyway.
For the S'mores Camp Out Fund. Speaking of the camp out, thank you, Janet. That is more than generous.
Thank you.
Buy a marshmallow or two.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. We are still doing the Bigfoot camp out. There's a few tickets left available for it. And we ain't doing a hard pressure sale. If you want to come hang out with us and you're into that sort of stuff, this is a freaking awesome one to go to.
You made a joke about timeshares, Hellbent Holler timeshares. Like a timeshare presentation.
So
what a terrifying presentation that would be. Be like, hop on MK's creepy old bus. We're going to take you to a location, you know, an unknown location where you could be eaten by a dogman.
You could be eaten by a dogman, but we
you'll be fed freeze-dried food.
And if you want to be a producer or an executive producer for our documentaries we put out based upon our investigations, join the memberships. You can be a holler baller or a paladin there.
Yep, those are available at that level.
We are, like I said, we're completely community supported. I had to explain to someone this past week that we do not get Mr. Beast levels of money off of YouTube, nor would we want to be that mass palatable, if that makes sense.
We're not for everybody.
We're not for everybody.
And that's okay. We like that.
It's okay. We're not for everybody.
It's kind of good to be a little exclusive and
but we can always
tastemaker.
We can always use the help if you guys are looking to.
So this is me in this freaking Osage orange. Not to interrupt you, Joseph.
Go ahead, show this.
Bam! Look at that thing.
That thing is like gigantic. I've never heard of those things before. We actually messaged Oki, who's in here. Matter of fact, speaking of Oki, thank you, Oki.
Okay.
My man. Messaged Oki when we heard about it that they were not black walnuts, that they were, what are they called again?
Osage orange.
Why can I not remember that?
Also called a monkey ball.
But we were looking
they
at
also
it,
have several other names.
and it's in Blackthorn where there used to be multiple, like very large plantations, small farms, all that. Now it's all just turned back to forest. There's no turning. But we saw where it was used for fencing before barbed wire really came about. And we found a run of it. That's where we found it at. But then there was barbed wire in there. So obviously somebody had planted it on their property line.
Yeah.
We've never seen that in this region before. We do most of our stuff in the mountains, obviously, down here. But I've never seen that before. I'd never even heard of that before. And we mentioned it, and then like everybody and their mother's got to all of a sudden display their Osage orange like knowledge that I guess everyone has in great detail.
You know what it is?
What's that?
We must have laid out and watched Jerry Springer on Osage Orange Day.
I missed Osage Orange Day. So
yes.
Curtis Whitaker.
Curtis
Whitaker coming out the
What's
gate.
up, my man?
Curtis. Did you ever email Curtis?
I don't know.
No, I emailed Curtis.
You emailed Curtis.
Yeah, you need to talk to Curtis, man. Curtis got a story.
Get the lowdown.
We appreciate it, Curtis. Thank you so much, my man.
Did you get Sheila P?
No, let me finish with Curtis here real quick. Don't cut Curtis's time short. Curtis does a lot for us, man.
I just want to say, look at that cheese ball with that monkey ball in that photo.
A cheese ball with the monkey ball. So,
you want me to take that down?
What that? No, you can leave it. You can leave that up for the rest of the show, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not leaving that up.
So, Curtis, thank you, buddy. We appreciate it. And then while we're throwing out thanks to everybody, Cryptid Castleberry just gifted 5 memberships.
That's pretty awesome.
Cryptid Castleberry did 5 a couple weeks ago.
Did he?
Half the membership is going to be like indebted to Cryptid Castleberry.
We're gonna have interlopers. Yeah, and if you join up with the membership, there's a lot. If you are gifted a membership or you join the membership, there's a lot of cool content for you to check out. There's a lot of videos on there. Past live investigations.
We do have a Discord, but if you're like a tool,
don't join it.
Don't join it because we'll just kick you out. We'll just kick you out. The Discord, we got a good thing going with the Discord right now. We'll keep it good. So keep it good.
We got a good thing going.
Oh, how? Thank you, buddy. Thank you. I need to plead for charity more often. It does wonders for us, man.
You know what we need to do is we need to have like a sad video playing Arms of the Angel.
And me like with like a dirty, tattered blanket around me going,
you know what we'll call you?
Sarah, what's that?
We'll call you Zach Beggins.
Like the Sarah McLaughlin videos, man, the starving dogs. So
Zach Beggins. No, but we appreciate all the support that you guys give the channel.
Speaking of support, Jamcat coming through. We appreciate it, Jamcat. What we have got on the horizon for us right now is Usually every few months we do some equipment refits and upgrades and whatnot.
And I broke the crap out of my spirit box on the Equinox investigation.
Let's add new spirit box into that.
You
you were rattled, man. You could tell you were rattled. I mean, you kept picking it up and then just dropping it. Then you'd pick it up and
lost one of my dang gloves.
Lost her abrasion resistant gloves.
But I tell you what, coming out of Equinox, coming out of the investigation, I don't even know what to label that last video, that last investigation we had. How do I even begin to qualify what that was? How do I even begin to describe that? Because there was so many elements to that.
Have we done a live since then? We did do a live.
We did right after, because we released it last Monday. Although it feels like we released that a month ago.
It does not seem recent.
We released that video last Monday. We did a live right after on Tuesday. That thing took a lot out of us. And I think last week you could see it kind of in our demeanor, in our faces, how we were feeling, how we were doing. Mentally, we're a lot better. It feels like that darkness, that cloud has kind of lifted a bit off of us. We
were feeling like
aggressive.
I woke up and I had
sick.
I had slept deeply, but I woke up and felt terrible. And literally the term "I feel hag-ridden" came through me. The sleep hags, you know. So, and I just went, I feel hag-ridden right now. I feel like I've not slept at all. And what's crazy is so we felt it getting worse and worse and worse. And I was talking to Bonnie Blue McGee's in the chat. She's like our folklore expert. And she and I talk like folklore and lore and legends all the time together. And we were talking about how Halloween, the veil thins and spirits, whatever you want to call them, they can access our world a lot easier. And she was like, you're feeling them press in around you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. I don't know. Felt like it. But I will tell you that once we got through Halloween, we both felt like really like night and day. November 1st, we felt like
it was a huge relief.
Back to our own normal selves again. So
yeah, and which is great because we have so much to do. We have so many investigations lined up. We have so many things coming up and projects. 2026, our agenda for 2026 just got a little more bananas. Possibly.
Yeah.
So, So
we've got some weird stuff possibly going on in 2026. We'll talk about it later once it develops a little bit more. It's weird. It was a weird conversation to have, and we'll go into that later. Sheila P, looking fresh, recent haircut. My short on the sides, way too damn long on the top. It's getting clipped off tonight.
I will cut the top tonight. Yeah.
Sheila, thank you for being a member. And then Carino, thank you for being a member. All these pop up at once at the beginning of the show. That's why we're covering them.
Yeah.
So good to hear and see Jesse and Joe. Good to be here. Thank you, Carino. Thank you for being a member and supporting us, my man. We appreciate you greatly. Appreciate you. So
I think I'm gonna do. I'm already ready for Christmas. I don't know about you. I'm so.
Let me get that down so people can see it in all of its crazy glory.
I got the Christmas little 30-ounce Stanley. I get one joy in life, and it's getting these silly cups. I love
one joy in life.
One joy. I love Christmas. I'm more of a Christmas person than a Halloween person, believe it or not. My birthday's on December 21st, so we really hit Christmas.
Yeah, your house screams Christmas. Yeah, it just screams. It screams Christmas.
It will in a few weeks. I think this year we're gonna do our spooky Christmas ghost story special. I'm super excited about that. I did a reading.
I was actually pulling that up right now.
Oh, were you? Yeah. I did a ghost story. Our really good friend LW Marshall, my spiritual counselor and guide as well. He has a show called Paranormal Palaver, and we've been on it before. We need to go back on it. We definitely have more stuff to cover with LW. And Lane is just such a cool guy. Him and Mary. And I did a. Gotta get it on there, Birdie boy.
I thought I did.
I did a ghost story for his ghost story special for Halloween. I know Micah Hanks did one as well, but I did a ghost story about a witch.
I heard I was going to do one, and then I heard how well yours came out, and then I was just like, I don't really even want to bother.
I had so much fun telling that story. It's the Witch of Yazoo City. So I had so much fun telling that story and doing that, and I did like a dramatic reading of it, I guess. I had so much fun doing it. I want to do more ghost stories. I want to do more storytelling stuff. So let us know if you would be interested in me doing that. I have a really nice microphone that I enjoy using now.
I want to do, and this is weird that I'm saying this, but I just
because you all like my voiceovers a lot.
I want to do, because as soon as you said I want to do more ghost stories, I want to do like a big ass paranormal investigation outdoors somewhere though. I wish we had some like ghost towns or something like that around us that we could do. Yeah, we do that one.
That we went to.
People don't like,
and we have not returned to.
People don't like the paranormal stuff as much as like the Bigfoot stuff.
No, they don't.
But you've got to admit that we found more like paranormal evidence than we have like Bigfoot evidence. I mean, it's just, and then even some of the Bigfoot stuff could possibly be paranormal.
Grown ass big ass ghost investigation. That's our new ghost hunting
my new
group.
Vanity license plate. Anyway, what else is on the horizon?
Yeah, like you were saying, finish your thought here.
I'm thinking I might want to do one. I don't know. Okay. I mean, it just, when you said that, I just all of a sudden had the.
But you and I literally just had this conversation. Thank goodness Halloween is over. So now let's get back to cryptids. We got to get back to the cryptids. We got to get back to the cryptids. Let's walk away from the paranormal for a bit, because it seems like this also happened to us last Halloween.
But I'm talking like with like buildings and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think we could do like the ghost shows where they do like jails, like old jails and like stuff like that, because we'd just burn the place down at some point, you know. We'd have fire bombs ready. You know what I'm saying? Take this ghost. Anyway.
We're not allowed in the house.
So what else do we got?
Oh gosh. All right. I'm trying to catch up on chat because I've been just running my mouth.
One of our Holler Baller executive producers, Monica. Bill is already listening to Christmas music nonstop. Loves the new cup. So
I want to do a ghost story special. I'm going to do Christmas because I think Christmas is actually a spooky holiday. When we decorate, we do kind of a dark Victorian spooky Christmas when we decorate here.
Well, ghost stories were always very tied into it.
Yeah.
And that kind of peaked in Victorian England. That was very, very tied in. It was a very spooky time of year.
And we've got a couple of resources for really good spooky ghost stories. So as soon as I know everybody gets angry as soon as November starts that everybody starts doing Christmas, but I don't care. I care not. I'm going straight to Christmas, boys.
So we are doing that camp out, and I'm not going to belabor that, but I'm going to mention it a few times throughout the course of the evening. There's a few tickets left. Again, this ain't a timeshare thing, and ain't nobody strong-arming you, but if you're into that sort of stuff and you want to hang out with us, we're doing some night investigations, taking people out, maybe bringing most of them back. Got to sign a waiver.
Safety not guaranteed.
Safety not guaranteed. And you like this sort of stuff, this would be a good one to do, man. So,
yeah, and actually the price point is insanely reasonable for what happens, what you get for this. Ronnie LeBlanc is going to do a portion of this. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be a tie-in with UFOs and Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I know that that's something that he is very passionate about and likes to talk about on a regular basis. Even Tim Dennis brought that up to me. When I was talking to Tim Dennis about the monster on Morse Mountain and we did that interview, he brought up Ronnie LeBlanc and goes, have you ever experienced UFO activity when you're out Bigfooting? I'm like, not a lot. He goes, well, Ronnie talks about it all the time. So
lights in the woods we've experienced.
Lights in the woods for sure.
I mean, the only real difference is,
I guess, yeah,
the elevation of what you're seeing at that point then. So,
but Ronnie talks about that a lot. That's going to be interesting. I think we're going to have the lady that does the singing bowls. That's going to be there. So that's going to be a lot of fun. There's going to be a lot of fellowship in the evening. We're going to have some
fellowship.
Evening investigations. We're going to have fires. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the price point is quite good. And we've got a lot of really fun characters coming already. We know that we've got Ken on the menu for sure. So we are going to have a blast. I think just hanging out by a fire with Ken Lucas is going to be worth the price of admission by itself, don't you?
Yes, indeed.
I think
So,
but yeah, Joe's put up that link there, and I'll put it actually in the description of the show as well. And we'll sell out that, and then everybody can start preparing for that April camp out. So,
hold on, I'm doing some housekeeping stuff here as well. Keep going, keep talking, entertain the masses if you don't mind.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was transitioning to something else here. So, yeah, so we're excited about doing it. I know that we're going to take people out, and I've got a couple of plans for our night investigation for that. And, we're going to bring a lot of our equipment. I know that we're going to bring some of the equipment that we use to monitor infrasound. I think we're going to bring that device out. If Joe will release it from his tight grip and we'll bring it out there, I think that we'll bring that out there, and you guys can kind of see how that works. And I know that Randy and the guys at 40 in Tennessee, they have done several investigations in this area that the camp out is in. And there has been recorded consistent activity. So we're super excited about that. So we're excited to get into that. I'm going to go through the chat here. And James Whiting says, Handsome Joe.
Handsome Joe.
Handsome Joe.
But Honorable Scribe, remember for 15 months, Christmas Cryptid Cruise.
Christmas Cryptid Cruise. We could do that on a barge. I think Christmas lights would look just phenomenal on a barge.
Again, not everybody might make it back. So we were talking about. Let's get into it.
You want to get into it?
We were talking about just a second ago. You had a perfect segue, and I didn't take advantage of it. You were talking about CE5, which is generally used with like UFOs and UAPs.
Yes.
And we've talked about doing a variation of it. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? Ronnie LeBlanc does a similar thing to it. And we just talked about, we've never seen like a UFO while we're out looking for Bigfoot, but we've seen lights in the woods. We've seen orbs or witch lights, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
And we just said, well, the only difference is in the elevation for it at this point.
We did see a UFO right before one of those night investigations for that last expedition we put out.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
As soon as we got out to where we kind of like stashed the vehicle, we got out and we looked around and I recorded it.
I haven't even looked at that footage yet.
I have not looked at that footage either. It totally slipped my mind. Something else also happened before that. We were driving down into that area, and what came at us? A freaking owl.
Yes.
So
we had
that ties in.
We were driving.
We never talked about that.
We never talked about that. We were driving in. Do you want to say which investigation? Or
you can if you'd like.
It's when we were doing the multiple night investigations for the video.
That's what I just yes.
So we're driving in.
My husband doesn't
and
listen to me.
Freaking owl. Because we're going through a really wooded area.
Yeah.
Really wooded.
Very dense. And
we're
it's
just
a one lane. It's basically a one lane road. We're going down this one lane road. It's very dense woods on either side of us. Carry on.
So this freaking owl comes out of the tree line right at the window, like talons like forward. And we both go, and I go to like accelerate because I don't want to like hit the brakes, and it's gone. And I'm like, did that owl just try to attack the car? What the hell? And it was just the weirdest thing because it got close. It got really freaking close, for God's sakes, man.
I turned on the camera right after that because we were kind of just cruising and looking around.
Nature itself turned against us, but it very weird, very, very, very weird. But one of the
discussing CE5 and maybe that crossover there. I'm gonna get you back on track. Sorry.
Yeah, I know, but I got sidetracked.
I sidetracked you.
Sidetracked by the owl, but so let's talk orbs and Bigfoot. Okay, that's the topic of the show tonight in a really kind of roundabout way. Something that's been on my mind a lot lately is a lot of the stuff that we experience out in the woods and other people experience out in the woods. It doesn't seem like we're dealing with unknown wildlife, another species of person, even like maybe just some form of wildlife from like another dimension that crossed over here temporarily and then it's going back. Some of the stuff that we experience almost seems like we're experiencing like a form of technology. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And the thing that really kind of sparked this in my mind is I was doing some research on another topic that's related to Bigfoot and the mechanical sounds that people hear in the woods. The most notably, the one that people always like circle back to is the Tom Mezek case that was in Missing 411, The Hunters.
Correct.
Older gentleman, he's out hunting, but he has a ton of experience. He was older, but he's somebody that you would expect to be able to, like, you know, get out of the woods okay, you know, especially the short distance that he was in.
He was also accompanied by a family member. They went to different areas, but they were in the same general area. Tom went to his area where he was going to hunt, and then his family member went to another area adjacent to where he was.
Jeff from Wildcat Tattoo, remember for 10 months. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate you. But it's described in a variety, and you'll have to forgive us tonight if we're kind of working this through, because this is something that we're still kind of like coming to like grips on what we think about all of this stuff. And we're still kind of like really looking into this, but it's something that we've really, really been into lately. So we figured we'd talk about it with you guys tonight, get some perspective from the chat. This will be one of those shows that when we're done, we'll let everything load up and then we'll go back and watch it just to see the chat, just to see what you guys have to say. But one of the things that a lot of you guys have and girls have been really like fascinated by, and every time it comes up, it's a topic of conversation, is those mechanical sounds in the woods.
Yeah.
Sounds like a trap door shutting.
Sounds like a car door shutting. It sounds like a rattling of a tin roof or something like that. When you're nowhere near any of these homesteads or anything like that, where the wind is not blowing. We've definitely experienced all of these things in the woods. We've experienced that tin roof rattling in the LBL, even though we're nowhere near any kind of homestead or anything like that on a completely windless day.
Half-inch wrench crews heard metallic sounds in their stomping area. I didn't know that. So, hello, future Joe.
There's also that car door slamming sound.
Well, and what's weird is this is not a new development. If you go to, there's hardly any traffic, or good traffic there anymore, but the Bigfoot forums is what it's called. It's an old message board that's still limping along. There's discussion there from like years ago, people talking about metallic sounds in the woods. And you hear some people go, heard it, don't know what it is. Okay. I've recorded it with some like, you know, long duration audio recorders that I put out. Don't know what it is. People just acknowledging it and acknowledging the mystery of it. And then the people that have got to come up with like wild ass, like explanations to avoid acknowledging that something strange is going on.
Yes.
You know? People that Bigfoot is the only weird thing in the world and nothing else strange can exist outside of Bigfoot. The one that I heard that always sticks with me is that a tornado had come through, obviously, and ripped metal roofs off of buildings and deposited the metal roof in the forest, and Bigfoot had found it, groups of Bigfoot, and they shake it to like make that metallic sound.
Well, that's wild. Yeah, I'll take that. I mean, that's just as wild of a theory as whatever else the other theory is. Is that not correct?
Well, but I mean, that's you everything has to go within the terms of Bigfoot. Nothing
it has
else
to go within the terms of a ape in the woods
and
engaged in an act.
And then if you try to go, well, this is going on too, the ape just gets weirder. Okay, the ape gets weirder, but
so basically an ape jug band.
But the thing is that it's a metallic sound. Okay, it's a metallic sound. It's a mechanical sound. You hear all sorts of stuff. Ventus. I was watching a paranormal story channel last week, and they were talking about raven mockers. It reminded me of the weirdness in your last video, particularly the quiet area and the odd winds.
The odd winds. My God.
Ravenmockers are a Cherokee-like entity that is not pleasant. Obviously, from the name, you can tell that. But thank you for that, my friend. We appreciate it. So, there's really no biological life out there that emits a sound that you would call metallic. Okay, people are always very specific in it. Like you said, trap doors shutting, so it's not some sort of animal trumpeting or howling or shrieking or anything like that. It's a mechanical sound.
It has that distinct tinny
non-biological,
attributes.
non-biological. And you're hearing it in areas where weird stuff happens at. So that's where we started to kind of explore this idea. And this is just a theory tonight we're working. It's a thought experiment. Nobody get their panties in a bunch. Nobody's saying that Bigfoot's running around with like ray guns or anything like that.
Do you think any of these people wear underwear?
That much is true. Damn. So, hold on. Thank you, my friend. We appreciate you. But there's other stuff that happens too, though, that even if you say that Bigfoot's a little stranger than just like an undiscovered ape running around, this still doesn't like jive with that. Okay. Doesn't jive with it. I mean, the equipment malfunctions that we've suffered, the battery drain that we've suffered, the batteries being depleted, they never worked again.
Phenomenon that can never in any way possible be attributed to a natural animal that does not have any sort of ability or technological bent to it.
And
right?
people go, well, electric eels, come on, man. That's a big step. That's not even a step. That's a leap. That's more than a leap. I don't know.
An eel too far.
Yeah. So the SD cards being wiped out, and it doesn't happen to every camera. Sometimes it's targeted almost. It's very weird.
So what do we know in our world of technology that can do something like that at a distance? Could some sort of microwave, some sort of
microwave you could do. It's weird, and I hate to even like bring something like this up because I'm not going to bring it up because there's no way that I don't want politics in the chat. Let me just put it to you like this. A government official within the past week or so sent out a directive that people are not supposed to talk about Havana syndrome
all of a sudden
and electromagnetism to the press.
Sure.
So there's what we kind of know we can do. There's kind of what we think we can do. And then I'm sure that there's stuff that the government can do as well.
Right.
No politics. Nobody dip your toe in the politics. Let's just all agree the government's bad. And some of the stuff seems like it's technologically induced or maybe the byproduct of some sort of weird technology.
Right.
But that doesn't jive either because you don't see Bigfoot using machinery. You don't see Bigfoot and I'm sure if you search the annuals of like, UFO lore long enough, you'd find big hairy creatures that came out of a UFO and, they're wearing the kazoo hats with the friggin' antennas on them and they got the ray guns and all that. But I'm talking about the vast majority of what appear to be valid experiences and encounters. You don't see these creatures utilizing technology.
Right.
And what else, you can take it even beyond Bigfoot, Dogman, anything like this. But some of this stuff, if you just completely just enter this blind and you look at this, you go, what we're seeing in a lot of these cases, an exotic technology would be quite honestly, the most logical explanation for a lot of it. And I'm talking everything from targeted equipment malfunctions. Your people are hearing some sort of machinery go on.
Yeah.
And that happens beyond the metallic sound that people hear in areas with Bigfoot activity. People hear almost like the sounds of machinery underground in a lot of areas. Mm-hmm. Skinwalker Ranch, which has more than just lights in the sky. They have physical entities on the ground. They hear machinery coming out of the ground sometimes. We have been in areas where we've heard rumbling and what sounds like machinery underground at this point.
Namely, and I hate to bring up the LBL every time, but we did
Yeah.
such extensive work out there. We were at Station 16 and we heard a rumbling. We felt a rumbling beneath our feet out there. We know that there is some sort of water system out there that was built by the TVA. We know that is out there.
And wasn't that.
That's not an operation at this point. This was some sort of mechanical hum, but we know that the earth was disturbed at some point in time to dig these pathways. Who's to say that something wasn't dug below where these are, and these are on top, these avenues for water to go, and these cisterns and these aqueducts, I guess. How do we know those were not put over something else, that those weren't built as sort of a cover for what's actually underneath there? You
don't have.
I know that's off subject.
No. It's you're right. I mean, possibly, but it's as far as like the cryptid phenomenon, which involves Bigfoot and anything like physical, seemingly living entity on the ground. You don't really see them using equipment like that. And we're gonna delineate that stuff from like people that get out of craft. Okay, entities that get out of craft.
Seeing like a Bigfoot walk out of a craft,
or just like alien grays, anything like that.
Okay.
We're talking about the stuff on the ground that you don't normally think of as being tool users, or if tool users, but having like a level of technology that they have access to. But if you look at the accompanying effects, exotic technology is almost the best explanation for a lot of that. Even if you don't see it put into practice, even if you don't see it in use, you might be hearing it, and you damn sure might be seeing like the effects from it. The actual the causation, a lot of this stuff might be some sort of weird exotic tech. And if you don't get caught up on the what's doing it. Let's just look at the final product of it there, okay? So we have mechanical sounds, metallic sounds, and areas where Bigfoot activity takes place. In a lot of these areas where supposedly, and we're just going to say cryptids, those are the non-alien entities that are on the ground, okay? A lot of those areas you have equipment malfunction, battery drain, in extreme cases like SD cards get wiped out, okay? Random mechanical failures, vehicle problems, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that goes on. One of the other things that I go back to, that I want to circle back to, is the Tom Mezek case. Again, that hunter that goes missing after that metallic sound goes. There's something more than an entity carrying a body off or carrying a live victim off there. It's almost like some sort of technology might be the best explanation as to why he disappeared. But there's other stuff that goes on that you could possibly look at, and people have a problem with cloaking. Bigfoot's cloaking at that point. Well, we can damn near do that ourselves almost nowadays with like what we know with like technology. The government, like the military, pretty much has like cloaking technology they can use. So if you start looking at it in the terms of something else out there has a technology that they're using to do this stuff, we're just not seeing the technology. Okay. Well, Bigfoots can't cloak. Well, maybe something's making them cloak, or maybe they themselves are using something to
Or
cloak.
perhaps you have something that is more akin to like a Stargate, where you have something that they have this technology where they're there one moment and then they're gone. It's not necessarily that they're cloaking, but maybe that they can be there and then they can be gone by use of this technology.
Well,
teleportation.
You look at
if there's something that allows them to do that, maybe that's not a natural feature of what they can do, that they've not evolved to be able to do this, but this is some sort of technology that they as a species, as a separate entity who evolved in a different time, a different place, a different reality, maybe they have that technology to come in and out of reality.
Well,
or move from
possibly
place to place.
Possibly so.
Take somebody like Tom Mezek from where he was, and that sound, that metallic sound, is them activating that and then deactivating that.
But you're seeing other stuff too, like the resistance to gunfire that you often hear associated with Sasquatch. Okay. If it's a flesh and blood creature, you would expect it to have flesh and blood problems. And yeah, I know for every case of it being resistant to gunfire, you've got a case where people claim that they've killed it and then something happened to the body. And that I'm not going to argue that one way or the other. But there's a lot of cases of them being resistant to gunfire. The Hopkinsville goblins were resistant to gunfire.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yeah, there is a train of thought that they might have been like, extraterrestrial instead of coming out of the ground. But when they talked about it, they talked about how when they were hit with gunfire, it made a sound. You know what I'm saying? It made a sound like they were shooting into like a metallic thing.
A deflection, a ricochet sound.
Yeah. So there's that. There are other things that go on that you almost look at, in like a lot of cases with like cryptid activity, there's an ozone smell reported. And a lot of different types of machinery give off an ozone type of smell, especially if there's like, electricity being used in it or, and it's just, you start to look at it. And when you take the flesh and blood portion out of it out, even though hardware is not visible in these cases, I think there's a chance you're seeing the results of exotic hardware being used.
And just because you don't see hardware visible, you don't see mechanics visible, doesn't mean that they're not there, because you're applying how humans have developed technology. We don't know how whatever this is has developed technology. We don't know how they've applied technology. They don't know how their technology has evolved. You can't apply the process in which human beings have created a nuts and bolts technology to something that could be from a totally different dimension. Like their timeline is not parallel to our timeline. What they have how they have adapted is not parallel to how we have adapted. Just like if there was some sort of creature that evolved on Jupiter, it wouldn't look like a human. It wouldn't be a humanoid.
Well,
it would be more akin to whatever that environment is, right?
But I think but also too, you don't even have to take it that far. Human technology, one of like the mainstays of human technology is miniaturization.
Mm-hmm.
Things get smaller and can do more all the time. Maybe that's the case.
How I came to be.
Maybe you're just dealing with hardware that is basically so small that we don't notice it at that point. Wearable, it might even be like microscopic.
Implanted.
Nanotechnology, I don't know at this point.
I mean, we're just now getting to the point where you are having like Neuralink. You're having these things implanted. You can't see someone's Neuralink once they get it. Once we get far enough to where you don't have any sort of units on people's heads or anything like that. But once they get to that point, which that's what they're aiming for, is to be able to put something like Neuralink in the brain. That's technology. That's nuts, bolts, wires in the brain, but you can't see it. If it's gone that far to where they have that, it's a completely concealed technology, but the technology is there.
Well, some of the other things that you get there as well. So you've got the cloaking aspect of it. The optical camouflage, that predator effect that people talk about.
The glimmering.
Yeah, the glimmering. That would seem to be very much like a given to be something that's technologically based at this point.
Yeah.
Hell, in the movie, it's technologically based. There's lots of rumors that the U.S. military right now can basically replicate that shimmering kind of cloaked effect, and as long as you don't move, it's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You've got the other stuff. You have things like the intense feeling of fear and paralysis, that frozen kind of like effect that people get where just out of nowhere, their limbic system just kicks into overdrive. You could be, there are certain types of electromagnetic frequencies, RF frequencies, everything like that can stimulate certain portions of your brain from an external measure. Now, yeah, you could just have it's your sixth sense kicking into overdrive, blah, 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 blah. But we've talked ad nauseum on the show that infrasound is not a good match for the zapping effect.
Yeah.
That if you look at the zapping effect that people report in Bigfoot cases and all of the other associated stuff that goes along with it, it sounds like people are getting hit with electromagnetic energy. We're talking about like radiation of some sort.
And we're not going to get so in depth on infrasound. There's just been a massive mislabeling that's gone on in the Bigfoot world when it comes to infrasound, that what people think is happening or what they're labeling as infrasound is actually not infrasound.
Well, but then there also
it doesn't behave in such a way.
What's one of the hallmarks of like Bigfoot sightings? I blinked and it was gone. It just seemed to disappear. Well, where did it go? Did it run off? I don't know. It was there 1 second and the next it wasn't. I mean, even a cheetah you'd see run off. It might be super fast. You might barely see it, but you would see it. This thing of just it's there 1 second, the next it's gone. Are you talking about some sort of like camouflage, some sort of optical deception that's going on? Or are you talking about what basically amounts to teleportation at this point? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, the other things that come onto it as well is, we talked about orbs is how we got into this subject. Orbs are often seen around other anomalous, like, let's just say entities on the ground at this point. And if you just look at it, they're kind of like drone-like lights that associate with these things. Do they serve a similar purpose that like drones serve for us?
Right.
The ability to kind of like see a little bit further, to send something out while you safely kind of stay back a little bit. It might serve like a drone-like thing.
There's more recently with some of this UAP disclosure, there has been discussion that these things that are piloting these craft are not actually living entities, that they're just mindless robot drones, that they are sort of an anthropomorphic drone, that it's not a creature within itself. It's something that is sent out that pilots these vehicles. But it's humanoid, but it pilots these vehicles, but they are sort of a biological drone.
Well, one of the things that it at this point, even hardcore flesh and blood Bigfoot people admit that the orb phenomenon goes hand in hand with the Bigfoot phenomenon.
Let's all take a round of applause for the admittance of orbs.
So, but again, if you look at them, okay, I mean, when we've seen these things in the woods, they kind of drift through the trees. They might rise up a little bit. When you look at it in the term of a drone, kind of makes sense at that point. You know what I'm saying? Kind of makes sense that something that is physically not there at that moment is using it to observe at that point, just like we do with drones. One of the things that you don't really hear a lot about, you hear it every so often when you kind of read deep into this stuff. Something that always kind of, the few times I've seen it, it always like really just kind of just my ears perk up. Sometimes people will have like Bigfoot sightings. Okay.
I do have to say this. This is funny. Bruce Beaver goes, "Where's not today Saban when we need him? We need you to save us."
But everybody has those like cold patches. You go into like cold, you have it with paranormal stuff all the time.
Yeah.
People have that with Bigfoot encounters and other weird encounters as well. But there have been cases where people will like see a Sasquatch and then it's gone. And then they go over there and frost has formed where the Bigfoot was previously staying.
Oh, really?
Nowhere else.
I've never heard this.
There's a few of them like that.
Really?
There's a few of them like that where people will walk over. There's a Bigfoot there, and then the Bigfoot is gone, and it's frost there, but there's nowhere else. There's nothing else is frosting. It's not cold enough for frost, but there's frost where that Bigfoot just disappeared from.
You have to wonder, is there like a sapping of thermal energy that occurs?
Was thermal energy used to like buy something in order to get that thing the hell out of Dodge?
Yeah. Wow.
So
I've never heard that.
It's not that much, man. It's not that much. But there's problems with like communications equipment that goes hand in hand with the electronic equipment. People will have radios stop working, white noise on them, compasses spinning. We've had GPSs malfunction before. That's why
multiple
we run.
Locations.
That's why we run 4 GPSs at this point. Even something as simple as you often hear, like along with the frost, this is more prevalent, but you'll hear people talk about strange mists or fogs that come up where these creatures are seen.
Yeah.
Is that the byproduct of some sort of weird technology at that point? They, any sort of like unexplained, a light phenomenon, anything like that at all. you hear now, it's more with the UFO type of stuff. It's more with UFO cases, but there are kind of scattered throughout, again, mostly Bigfoot lore, but some places where encounters have happened, they say the vegetation acts strange afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the growth is stunted, maybe the growth is accelerated, things like that at that point. People will often also talk about just the way they move does not seem natural at that point. It seems unnatural. Even if you watch, again, I'll use a cheetah for an example. It's fast as hell, but it looks naturally fast as hell. People have described that these creatures look sickening the way they move sometimes. Is that
Sasquatch doesn't look like it's built for speed?
Doesn't look like it's Patty doesn't look like it's built for speed. So people have even reported on Bigfoot encounters like an electronic like beeping sometimes from the woods around them. Again, not too prevalent, but if you get
those accounts are out there.
Oh, those accounts are out there. I've seen them before. Bigfoot forums had a few of them as well. Like a beeping noise that would come from the woods at that point. Not a bird chirp, not an insect, but like an electronic beeping.
Interesting.
At that point.
And so Surreal says cold spots are the absorption of energy in the specific area. All energy, thermal, electrical, etc. And then I've got a lot of stuff from the chat, which I'm not going to throw it out yet, but when we're ready, we'll start to, because this is very dense. All of this is very dense, and it's a lot of speculation and a lot of theories going out there. It's just
a fun little topic.
It's a thought exercise and everything. But there's a lot of cool stuff from the chat, and what we're going to do is
we'll talk
some more. We'll talk some more about this, and then we'll start throwing this out and start this.
My final big one is that you will sometimes have physical after effects from witnesses who have seen creatures that should not cause physical after effects. And I'm not talking anything that's trauma based or psychological stressors or anything like that at all. I'm talking physical issues after that. John Keel talked a lot about with like the Mothman. Mothman's another weird one. Mothman would sometimes give, in some of the Mothman cases, a mechanical humming would seem to emit from him, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's a man, Mothman, him, but it would have like an electronic humming coming out of it while it was like flying.
I don't really know Mothman's pronouns. I didn't ask Mom.
Did you just?
Did I misgender the
misgender Mothman? But
it's Mothman.
Anyway,
Mothman in our lives.
So, but people have reported having physical issues after encountering some of these creatures, that if you didn't know you were reading a Bigfoot or a Dogman encounter, you would think that you were reading one of the more like kind of extreme UFO encounters at that point. A lot of this stuff sounds like, when you look at it just symptoms based,
something like
Havana syndrome is what it kind of looks like.
Or you could even take it a step farther and say like the Virginia incident, where somebody people who encountered this creature had almost radiation sickness symptoms, that they had this very it was very, very fast moving as well. Within just a few hours, the soldier who encountered the creature, he declined very quickly. Very quickly.
That goes back to that ozone smell. Even like a very rank creature is not going to cause like lingering illness from like that. But if there's some sort of gas that is a byproduct or a waste product of some sort of weird tech, all right, that maybe is not harmful to whatever's using it, but it's harmful to us, maybe that could go a ways towards explaining it at this point. Now, you'd have to look at it too, and you'd have to go, okay, let's just, again, for the sake of this thought experiment, say that some of this stuff is caused by a technology that we don't really see or know anything about, but that it's the best explanation for some of this happening. Then you've got to go, well, how the hell is technology getting introduced into some of these cases? It might not be as like overly simplistic as saying, well, the Bigfoot is using weird technology. Maybe there's other even stranger things going on there. There's a theory out there that aliens, the alien grays, like you mentioned earlier, are constructs.
Yeah.
They're not the real aliens. They're constructed by the aliens, and they're basically biological drones at that point. Well, there have been people that have bandied around the idea, usually like when Bigfoot's associated with UFOs, those sort of cases, like Stan Gordon type stuff, that the Bigfoot are basically constructs of some other non-human intelligence, and that's what they're using on the ground in Earth for whatever reason that they're using it for. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it makes sense to them and it don't make sense to us, but maybe Bigfoot's even weirder than what a lot of us have kind of like thought about, hypothesized, and maybe the Bigfoot themselves are like a mechanical creation. We don't have one in a slab.
We have no idea. So the possibility is absolutely there.
We can't definitively say no, that's not the case. It could be, and this is one of the ones I was thinking about when we were talking about this topic, and this is the one that intrigues.
Is this the wild ass theory?
This is the wild ass theory that intrigues me the most.
Put on your wat hat. Okay. Good God, I just came up with a freaking Jesus.
The wat hat.
Ah.
Wild ass theory that I find most interesting about this stuff is what if whatever's using these pieces of equipment, whatever's using this technology, it's completely separate from Bigfoot, Dogman, goblins, anything like that at all. You've got those things, they exist. There's something else that's using the technology. Well, why is it using the technology when people have these experiences? Well, maybe because these things, Bigfoot, Dogman, everything like that, they exist in extremely small numbers. It's a very limited population. They're damn near ready to go out extinct. And people always talk about, well, aliens are monitoring us. They've been here all along. They monitor us all the time. Well, maybe there's some sort of intervention from something else that's trying to keep these very small populations from going out. And they know that if people get a handle that these things are out there, well, Homo sapiens pretty much wiped out every competitor that came along that looked like us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's something that's basically the kind of like a game warden out there. You know what I'm saying?
Cryptoterrestrial game warden.
That is keeping, that in certain cases is there and it's like, Bigfoot and human nearby, they're engaging each other. I need to separate this so that this doesn't end up with this very small population of other creatures being exterminated by these humans.
Mm-hmm.
It could be the fact that these things are seen in window areas. You know what I'm saying? And there's just a ton of weird stuff going on there. You know what I'm saying? Maybe there's the Bigfoot or the Dogman or the things that you see. And then maybe there's some other things that are technologically advanced that happen to be there at the same time.
Yeah.
And maybe the stuff that we're experiencing is not even like purposeful. Maybe it's like a byproduct. Remember the guy not too long ago that went into where the, he went in with like a real heavy chain into the hospital.
Oh yeah, and the MRI machine.
And the MRI
sucked him in, basically.
Ripped him like up.
Yeah.
Well, that's not what an MRI machine's built for.
Right.
That's just an unfortunate side effect of the MRI machine.
Right.
Maybe we're just experiencing unfortunate side effects from an intelligent technology using non-human intelligence that happens to be in the same area. Maybe the Bigfoot and the Dogmen are experiencing the same stuff. Yeah. Maybe we're not hearing from them afterwards going, damn, Jesse, that was the scariest thing I ever saw.
They're just as scared of you as you are of them.
No, but I mean, maybe they're experiencing that other stuff. We talked about on a previous show that maybe the hitchhiker effect is so much stronger with Bigfoot because they're closer to that other side than we are. So the orbs are basically following them around and they don't really have anything to do with them, but they've just attracted. They've got a hitchhiker with them. Maybe these things are going on and they don't know what the hell it is either. It's just happening and it's happening to everybody there. We just notice it more because we have electronic equipment that's being affected and the Bigfoot doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but I'm just telling you right now, and it always comes back to that zapping thing with Bigfoot.
Everything,
and people always
always comes back to the zapping and the infrasound because this will never be dropped. This will never be abandoned.
Well, no, because it doesn't make sense. And when people go, when I go, the best explanation, if you match up the symptoms, is there's something electromagnetic going on. You're
Yes.
seeing a form of like Havana syndrome that's happening in the woods in the middle of nowhere when there's also a 9-foot tall hairy primate over there. And people always go, well, how is that happening? And I go, I don't know. But I mean, here's the deal. I don't have to know how it's happening. I don't know what the thing is over there. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you that if you look at what we know how infrasound works. This ain't infrasound. We know how very strong electromagnetics fields. We know how microwaves, all of that affects the human body and affects our electronic equipment. That's what we're seeing. I don't know how it's happening, but it's happening. I don't know what Bigfoot is, but it's real. I don't know what Dogman is, but it's real. Let's not get caught up on just because I don't have all the answers right now that it's all impossible, because obviously it's not, because this stuff's happening.
And it's tracking. There are incidences of all this happening. I think honestly that Bigfoot is a tool of the globalization. And we're going to reenact 1776 when we take the Bigfoots.
Don't even say his name. Don't even get all AJ on us there. Bonnie Blue McGee, my wild ass theory for the night. We've had many ancient civilizations before ours. Maybe some of this is an ancient weapon, portal, cloaking device that we wouldn't recognize because it's so old. Maybe Dogman, Bigfoot, Kentucky goblins, and everything like that are relic populations from before the cataclysm that everybody thinks, obviously the earth has suffered many extinction events. It's suffered very multitude of cataclysmic events. Maybe they are a remnant population of things that used to be much more numerous and much more advanced in the past. And maybe there's just little relic populations hanging on, and maybe they have remnants of technology. Maybe it's like a Bigfoot Mad Max situation going on.
Yeah.
Where once upon a time, the tools that they have were numerous, and now they've just got a few and they don't work very well, and they don't even really know how they work. They just know what they do. Maybe they are using technology, but it's not technology that they themselves built. It's precursor technology from a much earlier time. And maybe that's why it affects people differently, and it doesn't always affect people because maybe it doesn't work as well as it used to. That's my wild ass theory. So there you go.
We have a whole merch line that we've put together here. Rick Skinner.
Some people have, I know of at least two people, us and then Joe and Ron from Wild Weird, West Virginia, have found what look like Bigfoot tracks that were radioactive. They had high levels of radioactivity. Mentioned this,
I believe it was Enzo, that he mentioned that Joe and Ron have used the Geiger counter and actually gotten readings off of Bigfoot
Somebody
tracks.
Mentioned it,
and so have we. Yeah, that's in our chats we have starred in there. I believe it was Enzo Surreal brought that up.
And again, I'm not saying that this is the case, but if you look at it, you can't look at it. And if there's one thing I'm really good at, it's just removing like ego and preconceived notions and just look at something as if you are just not going to come in already assuming that this is ridiculous. Just look at it and then go make up your mind then. And
but if you have a pattern, of experiences, if you have a pattern of what we're experiencing personally, what people are experiencing, things are happening. This is something that needs to be discussed. There needs to be these theories that are posed because obviously this is happening. You can't just throw them out completely like some organizations used to do. It seems like you have to say, okay, could there be a there?
Yeah. A couple quick things. Duke Tucker had an owl go towards his car. I just put it up a second. Just curious. A lot of people have gotten buzzed by huge owls. And here's what's weird is I was coming home from work one evening back when we lived in the holler, back when we lived like really rural. And the road I took to get home was this very long, winding road through the woods. And it was insanely heavy fog. Okay. Insanely heavy fog. And it's a very twisting, turning road. So I'm white knuckled and hyper aware because I'm afraid I'm going to come around one of these curves and somebody else is going to be taking the curve a little too tight. We're going to just hit head on. So I'm hyper aware, driving slower than normal, going through this very, very, very thick fog. And I get movement out of and I'm like this. I'm ready. I'm ready to evasive maneuvers. I see something to my right. And you remember I told you about this when I came home. I look to my right, and out of the fog comes this white owl holding this giant dead rabbit. And it's having trouble getting like any sort of like elevation because of the weight of the rabbit. And it just comes we intersect perfectly. And the bottom of the feet of the rabbit, I thought it was if you go through the window and it gets up just enough so that the rabbit kind of hits the car and it goes. And I'm going, what the hell just happened? Oh my, so I go home and I come in and I tell Jesse, and I'm just going, if I was like a Native American and this was like, 500 years ago and I saw something like this, I would take that as a sign for something. I'm saying nothing ever happened after that though, but it was just
rabbiting.
so weird, man. But,
so I have a ton of stuff marked. You can start going on that. I've been hitting the Stanley too hard. I'll be BRB.
Okay. So anyway, I just want to this is again a thought experiment to make people kind of think about it a little bit. I'm leaning towards there being some sort of like shared technology there. You know what I'm saying? That a technology might be in use in some of these cases. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in use by the thing that you're seeing there. It doesn't. I'm not saying the Bigfoot's got some sort of weird predator bracelet that it's doing this stuff, but maybe there's a technology in use that's being used by another entity that we may not even be seeing at that moment. It's just that the Bigfoot or the Dogman or whatever is benefiting from the use of that. Hell, we might be benefiting from the use of that technology. Maybe if people didn't suddenly have like overwhelming fear or equipment failures and stuff like that, they would have, the wherewithal to kind of get closer to these creatures and people would end up getting hurt or maybe dying from it. But there might be some sort of like shared technology going on that explains a lot of this stuff, because no matter what sort of like hoops, like mental gymnastics you do, it's real hard to get a physical creature to be capable of doing the stuff that us and other people have reported. Now, here's the other thing too. You know how in UFO cases, owls are sometimes supposedly used as like a masking memory? People have encounters with like alien grays, but when they wake up the next morning, they thought an owl was at the window.
And that was reported with the, that's what people said the Hopkinsville incident was. That these people were just under siege by owls.
It's not just that. It's
the actual experiencer has
experiencer
that.
themselves.
The screen memory. Okay.
The screen memory has been implanted. Maybe that's what's going on. Maybe that people are experiencing weird stuff. And when they come out of those woods, they remember running into Bigfoot.
But there's never been a Bigfoot at all.
There was something else there that doesn't want you to remember what it is. And you come out going, I saw a Bigfoot and my camera malfunctioned and it seemed like it just disappeared. A murder slug. Yeah, something like that. Maybe it's something that Bigfoot is just like owls are a little off from alien grays. They look like close enough.
Yeah.
Maybe these things are so bizarre that Bigfoot is a natural.
Like the murder slugs are projecting Bigfoot into our brains.
I don't know, but I'm just saying maybe that's what's going on. Maybe it's even weirder than what we're hypothesizing right now. Maybe all of that's a screen memory by whatever's using this technology.
Sometimes I hate screen memory, theories, because that's just as bad as it's Occam's razor. It's like the opposite.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I know
I'm not saying that we should never explore those. You should explore every idea and every theory. 100%.
So, all right, let's see what we got here. HG says the 1973 Pennsylvania Bigfoot wave featured quite a few Bigfoot UFO dual sightings. I purposely steered away from Bigfoot's an alien tonight on a alien rocket ship that came down here because people have talked about that before. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to get even weirder with it because again, maybe all of these things are true. Mm-hmm. I always go back to this whole thing is that maybe the universe is a hell of a lot wilder than what we think. We're struggling to ask, struggling to figure out explanations for maybe one of these phenomenon. Maybe it's like
maybe we're just naked in the fetal position, sweating in the corner, just hoping that everything is just as logical as we think it is. But in reality, it's much more terrifying.
Yeah. Let me skip ahead here real quick. Our boy Ken just popped in.
That was a good description. Naked and sweating in the fetal position of the corner.
My boy Ken years ago had a bald eagle fly right in front of my pickup truck with a squirrel in its talon. Scared the heck out of me. This was bizarre. Just that owl, and it's just happened so fast, but it happened. I don't know, man. It's just weird.
Manu, who we've not seen in forever, has
that?
popped in. Well, you guys haven't been eating yet.
What's up, Manu? So, couple of quick things we'll go through here. Jerry, maybe the orbs are the handlers or watchers of the Bigfoot and Dogman. Well, that was one of the other things that I'd kind of like bandied around, is that maybe the Bigfoot and the Dogman and the goblins and all of the physical entities that we see on the ground and people interact with, sometimes unpleasantly, but they don't visibly have any sort of technology. Maybe they're being used kind of like how we use non-tool using animals on our planet. Maybe just out of sight from them,
maybe
is the master, whoever's holding the leash.
Maybe that's the hunting dog.
Yeah, exactly.
That you send out into the woods. Just curious, is there a bell we can ring? I'm excited now. Got my spot for the camp out.
Woo-hoo!
I need a bell. We need like a
We need a bell. We need a bell. And we need to know who all's coming from our group, from Hellbenders. So, oh my God, you've got a bell.
All right.
Keep that next to us.
The bell is on the table. I knew I had a bell. You don't think this house ain't got bells?
Old Scorp, 40 in Tennessee in the house, and only 13 spots left for the camp out. Don't miss the chance to represent the Hellbenders. So, Joe series are elite. And please just save your damn mockery. But it comes back to
you got big brain energy.
The thing comes back
That's
to the
a compliment.
The zapping thing ain't low frequency sound. John Keel, the stuff that they experienced in around the Mothman and in these window areas and everything like that. He talked about people having burns on the inside of their bodies. He talked about people having reproductive issues as if they had been hit with radiation and all that. And now, there was always more of like kind of a UFO-y kind of element to a lot of that stuff. But I'm just looking at it going, if you just all of a sudden just went, don't take technology off the table for a lot of this stuff. Some sort of weird exotic technology explains a lot of this stuff very nicely. Well, where is it? I don't know. I ain't gotten there yet. Maybe it's something we don't see. Maybe it's just off the stage. Maybe it's something very small. Maybe we're not seeing the things that are actually using the tech. We're just seeing the hunting dogs at this point.
Right.
Or maybe we're seeing them, but by the time we get out, the memory of them is gone and we're remembering something else altogether at that point. So
Jeff Matlow has a cool one here. How does our tech affect them? Their avoidance of IR camera traps, etc. It's a possibility that our stuff freaks them out.
That's a great idea.
Or could possibly physically harm them. That's why they are taking such avoidance measures.
Well, maybe like this. Maybe it's one of the term, like one of the little phrases I've thrown around the show before is that maybe these entities, and you're getting into like interdimensional type stuff.
Oh, hang on. 40 in Tennessee. 11 now. Someone just bought your tickets. That bell, boy.
My God. Anyway, maybe these things, it's natural for them to give off some sort of weird, maybe it's not even electromagnetism. Maybe we don't have a name for it.
Yeah.
It's some sort of radiant energy that we don't have a name for, that it doesn't fit on our electromagnetic spectrum. John Keel's super spectrum.
Yes.
But maybe they give that stuff off like we shed skin scale, like skin cells, like dead skin cells just drop off us constantly. We don't have anything to do with that. When I breathe out, there's basically a gas coming out at that point. And that's just just a natural byproduct of my biology.
Yeah.
Maybe they're so damn weird that what we give off normally, maybe what our equipment gives off normally, affects them negatively.
Yeah.
And what they give off, there could be a fact that you're dealing with something that's so damn alien that just the presence of it to us and us to it is harmful.
Perhaps we have a pungent smell to them,
Yeah. Michael Tovar's got a good one. We humans, we're just pawns on an immortal world. Lots of strangeness. Humans just pawn in game of life. But it Kaiju Ninja asks, have we heard and recorded the humming sound? Yeah, there's a thing going around right now in the Bigfoot community about humming or the hummingbird sound and whatnot. we've picked up weird humming noises before. We had Laurel Creek. Those people said that the thing gave off
a sound between a rattlesnake and a bee.
hummingbird.
So it was a
I'm sorry, rattlesnake and a bumblebee.
A rattle and a buzz.
Yeah, like, and that doesn't seem natural.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Surviving the Strange says, in Eastern Europe, there's a Strix owl. It has a deep history of the owl symbolism. The word plural is striges, which means witches.
Strigoi. All right.
Everybody's saying it's the bell, like from Weapons. I don't know where this came from. This is part of our big collection. I don't remember where this came from. This is one. I have several bells, but this is my favorite.
Yeah, there we go.
Now it's the camp out bell, apparently.
But I mean, that's just something I want to toy around. Is that maybe it's a technology? Maybe it's a technology that originated here on Earth a long time ago. Maybe it's a technology that originated here on Earth underground. You know, maybe it's a technology from somewhere else in our physical universe. Maybe it's a technology from another universe, another dimension.
You know what that is? It's you pulling out your gat. Your grown ass theories.
Damn it. All right.
You just got super silent.
Got super silent. That takes a lot to impress me, Bruce. But that was it. That was it. So
I added the gat part.
Yeah.
That all was me.
Kaiju Ninja says if Patty was a real Bigfoot, why didn't she cloak and disappear? Because not every Bigfoot cloaks and disappears, but it happens enough that at this point that you need to take it seriously. I always stay by the fact that there might be more than one type of creature that we're lumping together in as Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, if you look at the physical descriptions that are reported, yeah, they're upright and they're hairy. Some look like apes, some look like people. You know what I'm saying? Some have more exotic kind of like abilities, self-illuminating eyes. They did this, they did that. Others are just like, well, the one I saw acted like an ape. It was eating berries, and when I saw it, it ran off in the woods. So, all right.
William Kennedy has a suggestion. Stand still, close both eyes, say Bigfoot 3 times, open both eyes.
Here's another one. Maybe you get into simulation theory. You know, what if we're just all NPCs in a simulation? What we perceive as paranormal is just the players using the cheat codes.
Then we start going down such a nihilistic path here.
Well, I think that it's just, you can't rule this out. You know what I'm saying? Again, it's these imaginary thresholds that we put onto stuff. I'm willing to allow this weird thing to happen, but because I don't personally find it interesting or I don't personally have an answer for it, all other weird stuff just gets kicked out at that point.
Yeah.
It's kind of an a-hole move to do at that point. Because quite honestly, I've heard flesh and blood Bigfoot accounts from people, and I've just stood right there and just gone, you're just feeding me a line of crap right now. There's no way this happened. I'm sorry, you know? And then I've heard extremely fantastic. The damn murder slug case was pretty compelling when he told that story.
Yeah.
The murder slug, if you were there, and if Randy's in the chat, 40 in Tennessee, when you talk to that guy, I find it a lot more compelling than a lot of flesh and blood Bigfoot cases that I've heard. So
where does that put us?
I have no clue. I don't want to, I kind of want to go to the murder slug investigation. I kind of don't want to go on a murder slug.
You don't want to open that slimy little door.
I kind of do though, but I kind of don't though. Paramedic guy who stabilized the Patty film showed where she starts to take on the color of the trees as she walks by. Is that MK? Hey, it's MK Davis's birthday today, by the way. But you didn't know that.
Birthday to
like MK's watching our show. Those damn kids. But I wonder if that was like an MK Davis thing.
You think he would stoop this low?
I don't know. So. But I just, Reverend's got the perfect thing here. I don't have an explanation for anything these days. And again, I don't have an explanation for it either. But if you will look at it and you go, I don't know how it's happening, but this might be an explanation for what's happening.
And a pattern develops with these. And if you can kind of pick out these little points here and apply them to these theories,
yeah,
you know, that's how you have to look at this. Well, is there are patterns developing. It's not necessary you're not necessarily saying that all encounters have these features, but there's enough encounters that have these features that you can say some kind of pattern is there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing is people can sit there and go, well, that's ridiculous. And I go, the whole damn thing's ridiculous.
This whole court is ridiculous.
The whole idea of Bigfoot, no matter what you ascribe to it, is ridiculous to the majority of the population. Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, somebody who is standing there dressed up like Indiana Jones telling them that, well, it's, an undiscovered North American primate and it's this and this. And some person who's standing there going, I saw it, its eyes were glowing, it did this and this. They both sound equally ridiculous.
Yeah.
So don't go put.
Although most of those guys find the door to the basement undiscovered at this point too.
Jesus.
Ew. She's mean.
Lord God.
She's got a mean streak. It's like Christmas cups driven her mad.
Anyway, our boy JD Smooth, who recently had a birthday as well. Do think some Dogman are familiar witches. And here's the deal. It could be like metaphysical. There could be something that I think that when you get sufficiently advanced, that old trope, any sufficiently advanced technology is going to be indistinguishable from magic. I think that's the case. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that when you get up to a certain level of like weirdness, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, magic, technology, and everything like that, the lines get blurred a little bit at that point.
Happy birthday to Hellbent. It'll be 35 in 2 days.
Happy birthday.
2 days until the big 3-5.
The big 3-5. So, all right.
What a young man you are.
HG says paranormal, self-illuminating eyes are completely paranormal according to known biology. Exactly. People will cherry pick and bring up bioluminescence that occurs. And
you're talking about sea anemones, bro.
You're talking about insects and invertebrates and everything like that. And also, it's not biologically feasible for a light gathering sensory organ to emit light as well. It seems like that would kind of defeat the purpose. All you would see is the light that your own eyes are emitting at that point. Just like the ability to see infrared.
It's like if I have, say we have our camera that is our night vision camera that we film most of our evening investigations with. Say I took a giant IR light and I stuck it right next to it. Yeah, wouldn't be able to see anything. You would have that glare. You'd have that burst. You would have that, and at all, correct?
But here's the deal. It's still happening. The ability to see infrared, it's not biologically feasible. A warm-blooded animal, yeah, you do have animals that have very
maybe instead of the word
evolved methods of sensing heat, like feeling heat.
Yeah.
Okay. Vampire bats can sense body heat exceptionally well. They're sensing it. They're not seeing it. And if you could see into that spectrum, well, your own body heat that you were given off would basically blind you for the most point at that point. So everybody's birthday is coming up. Look at that. So, all right. But anyway, I'm going to go back to the chat. If you guys have any things on this, and again, I know this is not everybody's cup of tea. Nobody, if you think that just talking,
you're going to say nobody cares.
If you think that even talking about this is ridiculous, well, then Hellbent Holler ain't your jam. Because our whole thing is think outside the box of this stuff. And I'm not saying this is what's going on, but I ain't saying that it's not what's going on.
If you're not ready for big brain activities and fart jokes, there's the door.
There's the door, man. But it's just, and again, and here's the other thing too. Maybe what's going on out there is so alien to our understanding of reality that it's something that we would never think of. And maybe it's something that we don't even have the brain meat to understand. Maybe we're not hardwired enough to really understand what's doing this. We're just seeing the final product, or maybe we're seeing an after effect of this stuff.
It's almost like if something is like almost so intense and Lovecraftian that as soon as you saw it, you'd go into a fit of madness.
Well, when the space shuttle, and I'm just going to use that because when large rockets go off, well, the ground shakes. You know what I'm saying? The ground shakes like it's an earthquake. You know what I'm saying? For people that have been there and seen these things like up close, it's almost like a religious experience to see this. the whole purpose of one of these rockets is not to shake the ground. It's a byproduct of it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a byproduct. The smoke and flame that these things give off are just the method it's using to do what it needs to do. So again, maybe what we're seeing, maybe this equipment stuff, it's just a byproduct.
It's the collateral damage of whatever's happening.
So anyway, a little weird show for y'all tonight. Not our normal Bigfoot stuff.
Neo thinks these conversations are important. Not gonna lie.
There we go. Appreciate you, Neo. Appreciate you. HG, Bigfoot without the woo is like Ric Flair without the woo. We joke about woo and stuff like that all the time, but I
think because the term woo that was used as a derogatory very, very kind of early on, because those people that really go against, I don't believe in the woo, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to be derogatory against women with crystals who are trying to call out to the Bigfoot, which, you know what? I don't think we should make fun of that anymore, maybe. Maybe don't make fun of that.
Well, UFOs.
You never know. Because you got people who are doing CE5. How is that much different from what is being labeled as crazy women in the woods with crystals?
People keep trying to like debunk the telepathy type stuff with autistic nonverbal children.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say it, but a lot of the debunking I've seen is just flat out fake. And I'm going, you're expending a lot of energy bringing up some BS to try to disprove something. If it's not real, then eventually it'll be determined that it's not real. You know, why are you so emotionally invested in disproving this? If it's fake, eventually everybody will figure out it's fake. And then I draw parallels to the UFO community. Back in the day, everybody thought that these were physical craft taken off from Zeta Reticuli, flying through the universe, entering our atmosphere, landing. Aliens are getting out in their little spacesuits and doing all that jazz. And now the people that some of the best minds in the world that are involved in this stuff, are saying that it's all tied into consciousness, that it's much weirder than just alien spacecraft. So why are they allowed to say that about UFOs? But if we say, well, maybe the Bigfoot subject's a lot weirder, because again, if it's just monkeys, where did that lady just plug that monkey that escaped the other day? Where was that at?
I'm assuming Mississippi, just off the top of my head.
Probably. It sounds like a Mississippi thing. But all those monkeys escaped that truck.
Yeah.
Lady shot the last one in her backyard. You know what I'm saying? If it was a monkey, there'd be Mississippi housewives plugging them on a daily basis.
And that was a herpes monkey. It was crazed with
crazed with the herpes.
Syphilis, all kinds of stuff. He had the syphilis rot in the brain.
But
so I've got a wild ass theory here that makes me insanely uncomfortable here. Jeff Matlow.
Lay it on me.
Maybe the gangly shadow figures seen in the LBL can manifest as Dogman, Bigfoot, goblins, etc. They are the seldom seen puppet master.
Damn.
Do not like.
If those things wanted to do you harm, there'd literally be nothing you could. You say that about every cryptid, but there'd be nothing. Mankind would get predated to extinction. You know what I'm saying? If there were enough of them and they wanted to do harm, there's just something wrong about all of that. So anyway, we're wrapping it up, y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us through this wild, all over the damn place show tonight. I'm going to put that
for everybody who's held in there.
That cramp out.
How many women are attending?
The cramp. Hey-o.
Yeah.
We're doing that camp out. If you want to come along.
I'm getting fired.
Maybe we're doing the camp out. Probably not doing the camp out. The announcement that we will be kicked off is probably coming up pretty soon. So you never know.
Spaghetti Guy, this is the funniest thing I think I've ever read. I want to make a t-shirt that says this. I think NASA is a humiliation ritual.
Sweet Jesus. Okay.
That should be a t-shirt.
Anyway, we appreciate it, y'all.
Yeah.
Not your typical Bigfoot show. William Kennedy, where have you been? We've missed your unhinged nature.
No, he's been here. I've read.
All night tonight, but he hasn't been as present in the shows.
I just thought you were talking tonight. I'm like, I have been reading this madness as it comes about.
Anyway, thank you all tonight to everybody who joined us. Thank you for everybody who has joined the membership. Castleberry, thank you for throwing that 5 memberships people's way. Thank you for everybody that did the super chats.
I always say thanks Thanks for a good game, everybody.
Thanks for a good thing. Thanks for a good game. We
It's
appreciate it.
It's about the murder slugs we met along the way.
So anyway, we're out of here. We're gonna go get some food. We love all y'all. And what do you got coming up from us? We are out on a couple of investigations this week. We've got a busy weekend ahead of us. We do. We've got a real busy weekend ahead of us.
Got a little bit of Dogman, a little bit of Bigfoot.
So we're gonna keep y'all posted.
Yeah.
And
we'll probably put some photos as we go along in the old Discordio, because we're gonna be on some wild adventures over the next few days. We're excited about that. We gotta get packing, get cracking on that packing, and getting our equipment put together. We're excited. We're going to freeze our butts off, but it's gonna be fun. We're excited. I hope you guys have a awesome and productive week. Got a lot to think about, a lot of things to roll around in the old noggin.
What's up, Miranda?
Hello, Miranda. I am hoping next time we come on in front of you, good and fine people, we can ring this bell once more. I'm going to put the link to tickets for the Bigfoot camp out, the cryptid camp out, in the description of the show, so you can pick up your very own cryptid camp out tickets. That's going to be in April of 2026. And it's going to be in Tennessee, and we're going to have a blast. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'd be awesome
if it was mostly like Hellbenders there.
And then we
are disinvited from the next one. And so. All right, we're out, guys. Thank you all for joining us on this. If you got any ideas that came up on this was a all over the damn place show. And if it's kind of scattered, well, it's because it's a freaking topic. It's hard to pin down.
Yeah.
But if you've got some like ideas on it, leave a comment. Carry on the conversation for it. I mean, this is kind of like the stuff that we think about kind of behind the scenes after we experience this stuff. What the hell happened there?
Yeah.
And you just can't go, Bigfoot zapped my camera. Well, how did Bigfoot zap my camera? Was it Bigfoot that zapped my camera? I'm not even sure.
Don't be afraid to look deeper and ask questions.
Keep digging down. We deal with this. We deal with the weirdest topics on such a surface level. And then we wonder why we never figure anything out.
Yeah.
Keep digging down. Allow yourself to think in like novel directions. Allow yourself to think about ridiculous stuff, because maybe that's not the answer, but maybe that'll lead you to the answer. Yeah.
That's inspiring, Joseph.
Ringing the bell on that one. Night, everybody.
Good God. City Witch has her own. I know I need to get off of here. City Witch has her own homework assignment that I love here. Lots of ideas for me to ponder, especially how to create my own Dogman familiar. All right. On that note, thank you. Be inspired by Joseph's large and beautiful brain. And have a great week. We'll see you all. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. See y'all on the other side.